Hi and welcome to another Type with me. In this week's episode we will talk about ECMAScript 2020 features. We will see if they work within node.js and deno. And maybe also the browser will take a look into that, just paste some code in the console.log. So are you with me? Right, let's go and dig out some ECMAScript 2020 features. So I'm going to start with the most boring feature within ECMAScript 2020, and that's big int. Right, so we have just here our old number, and when we execute that within node we get just our old number here, right? And if I want to have a new number, I can just do here let new num, which is our big int, and just provide it with n, so that's the that V8 knows that it's a big int, right? And then we can play around with it. So what we can now do is here plus new num, and then we can say console.log new num, right? So if we execute that, you will see here that we have just our new number, right? And that we can very easily add something, right? But if we, for example, want to do +2 here, we can just save that. When we execute it, you will see that we get an error, and it's the same with deno. With deno run index.js here, you will see that we get an error there. If we then just put here to n, you will see that it just works. And that's because we cannot mix big int and other types, so we need to explicitly create conversions for that. And how can we do that? Well, we put just an n on, after the 2, and then it's also a big int. Then it's 2 also a big int and not a normal int. Right, so I'm just gonna do this here, and we are going to check this within the browser. Save this. So we're gonna execute this within the browser. I'm gonna put here my code, right? And then you will see that we have the same kind of error that we had within node and deno. So of course we can also fix this, right? The same way that we did that with the other environments. So let me check here. I just do 2 here, and here we go. We have our results, right? And you see also that we have here another color, and that other color is for our big int. So next big feature is the private fields. So when we have a class here, and I'm just gonna put this a little bit below. So if we have here a class message, and then we have here our private field message, hi from type with me, then we do greet here, and we have console.log this.message, and then we create a const greeting equals new message, right? And then we ask for greetings.greet, and then we just also want to do a console.log from greeting dot, and then our private field, which is having this symbol, right? I don't know how you call it in English. So but this symbol here really says that it's a private field, so that's important. So when we run it within node, you will see that we will get still that error. Of course, that's normal. So I'm gonna execute it again, and now we get another error, right? So it prints out everything correctly, but the last thing is not being called correctly. If we do that here, we get the same kind of error there. Right. So here it says that it has problems with that. So what we can do here is put it into comments. And then of course, when I run it again, you will get here hi from type with me. The same thing goes for node.js, right? Of course, I want to see if we get that error also within the browser. So I'm gonna copy paste this, copy it. So here we are back again. I'm just gonna copy paste here this one, right? And then we get message must be declared in enclosing class. So what we are going to do now is doing here same kind of thing that we did with node.js and deno. So we have here our class message, right? We have here our private field, and we can just use that within a normal browser. So don't hesitate to start using this awesome feature already. You see that it can be used as of this moment, or maybe already before, but again, you can start using this feature. So imagine that you have multiple promises, right? And these multiple promises, you want to know what is the status of that promise. Is it been resolved? Is it been rejected? Are there errors? Are there no errors? Well, you can very easily do that with this feature, the promise.allSettled. And this allSettled will give you just some info about these promises right here. So if you execute that into Node, you will get status fulfilled and status rejected. If we do the same within deno, you will see that we also get that there. So the same thing, we can do the same thing in the browser, right? So I'm gonna copy paste that. I'm gonna execute it within the browser. Also here, this feature can already be used. So I'm gonna execute it right here. And of course here we get this same kind of object back for our two promises, right? So that's awesome. Same kind of thing is happening within the browser, and just there, right? So JavaScript is dynamically loaded. You have some falsy and truly statements there, right? So one of them is, for example, here age 0 and just name, and then just with an empty string, right? So when we execute this one, I'm gonna remove for the moment this, because otherwise, all right, then you will see here that he will print out anonymous and 18, and maybe we want to have an empty string and 0, right? Because that's just what we want, right? So now we get anonymous and 18, and that's just a little bit strange there. So how can we solve that? Well, in ECMAScript 2020 we have this feature, right? It's the nullish coalition feature. I'm not quite sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but okay, when you search for it, you will see that this is feature. So now you will treat it correctly, and you will get an empty string, and you will get a 0, right? So it's all about how you will treat falsies and truths there. And here it's just more strict. And when it's really having no value, I think, when it has here undefined, you will get anonymous, right? And I'm also gonna check, because I don't know, but it can be interesting to see. So here also NULL gives you anonymous. this not. So that's the reason why you should use this, right? Of course, I just want to check if it's also being provided within the browser, but yeah, it will be, right? Because it's in V8, right? So I think it will also be fine to use it like that. So here we are. It works also within the browser. Another great ECMAScript 2020 feature is the optional chaining feature, right? So if we are going to look at it, you will see here why that is a very awesome feature, right? The optional chaining will look into your object and it will see, okay, do I have a profile? Yeah, I have a profile. Does that profile has a name? Okay, it doesn't have a name. Well, use an anonymous. Has that profile, has that person a profile? Or is it an age, right? Then do that. So why? Well, otherwise you of course need to do something like this, right? Person or you can even do this, right? You can even do this, right? And not person and profile this is really awful code, right? But age and then of course you could just build up everything there, right? But this is, like I said, very awful code. This is much better. So for that reason it's really great to have that. You will see here that you will give an error because of course the identifier person is not there. So we're going to put this into of course person is already been defined, so I'm going to do person2, and of course here I'm also going to do person2, and here also person2, right? So here we go, we have here anonymous and we have here 18, right? And like I said before, when we have here person2, when we execute this, we get this error. It's the same when we do it with in this environment. If we just put this in the comments and we save this, you'll see that it executes. If we just bring this code towards the browser, you will see that it also works. Okay, so if I'm gonna put it here, you'll see that it just works, right? So that's awesome. So the last one that I want to show you is the await import, right? So you could do something like this. I'm gonna just do or create a constant moment. We are going to await or import of this ECMAScript module moment.js, right? And you could very easily do that just by doing dynamic imports within your application. So you don't need to bundle everything up front, but you can just create small bundles. And when your code needs a certain piece, you can just do an await import, right? Just put it then into an async asynchronous function, right? And then you can start using that. But of course, we are going to use it right here, and then I can do just here moments, and then you will see that this has still some flaws. You will see here that when I do a moment, you will see here that we have some problems. So if I do now moment.default and then new date, you will see that it works. So that's just because that's the reason how the browser works and how the browser handles everything around when you have a default export from your ECMAScript module. Well, then that's the key. So sometimes this happens and you just need to explore it. If it doesn't work like this, you can just do moment.default and then you get to the right code and just start using it like that. But this is also a very awesome feature in my opinion. You can very easily use ECMAScript modules on the fly, or you can just use certain bundles in your application and then start using that in this regard, right? So I hope you enjoyed my video. We talked about a lot of things, right? Big ints, special operators, this await import, right? But I'm very excited that the JavaScript world is evolving, brings awesome features like this on the table. I'm really excited to show it to you guys, to really explore it a little bit. I'm also excited because the browsers are just catching up really fast. We have these features really fast in the browser, and within Node and also within Deno. So this is really awesome. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel and see you next time. Bye.